Om Namo Narayanaye. 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 Om Narayanaye. Om Namo 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 Narayanaye. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om friends, welcome to Yuva Chaitanya, everyone. Yeah. We are on the main subject of spiritual sadhana, in which the starting point is the Japa Yoga after study of the scriptures. So on this, there are two topics based on Japa Yoga. And last time we have covered first topic, and that was about Japa technique of rosary we have seen, and last time we have completed the topic. The last 20th para was about, I'll read out. In fact, it is evident now that Japa properly undertaken can serve as a vehicle which can lift us from the pains and ugliness of our imperfections to the very throne of the infinite, the perfect. This was the last statement, concluding para. Just to warm up. Now, can you list out the stations in between in our journey from the Japa offers us as a vehicle? We travel by that vehicle. Starting from the ugliness of our imperfection, the starting point. Ending point is infinite, the perfect. It will take us to that. From our present state of imperfection, ugliness, etc., to the last destination of infinite, the perfect. What could be the stations we have to pass through? It is a graded evolution of the individual. Japa is the spiritual practice for that. It offers us a conveyance. It is my evolution. So naturally, I would be the central point of evolution. I, the ugly and the imperfect, to I, the infinite, the perfect. This is clear number one.
Identification will go on changing.
Go on, changing, improving.
Improving. First, if I am
Progressing.
identified with the body,
Towards the
yes, it will go on getting subtler.
yes.
So if I'm gross body, then I can consider myself as subtle body. Like that, it will go on. It will become subtler as the mind will get purer.
So now, what are the possible halts in between, where we can halt and review our progress, and then proceed for the next station?
So when my identification with body will reduce, then I will not be disturbed because of the pain that is causing or pleasure. So pain and
I will
pleasure
not
can
be.
hit body.
I will not be disturbed by
Pain and pleasure
when I am the body.
with respect to body means heat and cold and hunger and thirst. Like that, I will be least disturbed if I'm not identified.
No, but now it's not possible immediately if I not identify. It's not a matter of choice. We have to practice our higher next destination. We have to identify with the next destination and declutch ourselves from the earlier one, present one. So now the present state status, the next status, the higher status. Likewise, the ultimate status. Yes,
My
Shobha,
present status is a PFTI.
very good.
Then I have to declutch from PFTI to the Chidabhas.
Before that, one
Before
station
that,
passed.
witness.
No, stopping at all stations.
PFT to witness.
Ego is in between.
Egoistic
Ego.
individual. Ego. So PFTI first with reference to BMI, PFTI. Withdrawn from PFTI, egoistic I, the ego. Withdrawn from ego,
Witness.
again, nothing passed in between, all stations. Chidabhas.
Chidabhas.
Say egoistic individual, then individuality, that is Chidabhas. Then pure consciousness or witness consciousness. Then all pervasive universal witness. Then objectless infinite awareness. We have to reach up to this only. That is perfection. Then finally, the destination is awareful being, the self. So how many stations? PFTI, egoistic I, individual I, then the pure consciousness I, witness consciousness. They are same, but witness is something independent. So he has to practice that. Witness I, then universal witness I. Then finally the objectless, infinite light of awareness I. And there when we steady ourselves, then the awareful being will I don't know the right word, स्फुरणे, त्या स्थितीला आपल्याला आपलं आत्मस्वरूप स्फुरेल. Throbbing is the word, but I don't want to use that. The self will be throbbing in us. The moment we become established and steadied as infinite objectless light of awareness, then having studied there, then the idea of the awareful being will strike us. Till then it will not strike. Enter, steady. Then the next stage will strike to you that no, I'm not this, I am still higher. So I'm not awareness, I'm awareful being whose content is awareness. Right, so that was the point, just to warm us up. That was a revision. Of course, when I say revision, it is not that same thing we have discussed earlier, but we have to work on the same statement which we referred last time out, with which we concluded. Moreover, in the concluding times when we are covering those portions, they are still further open to reflection. Therefore, we tried out this. Now we are moving to the next topic of the same subject matter, and that is third topic in the first chapter, in the 8th chapter, pitfalls in japa. So second is over. Now third we are beginning, pitfalls in japa. There are various problems that we come across, and how to get over them is one of the considerations. So the title goes like that. I'll read out the first para. Japa is not physical, but it is mental and is to be raised to a still deeper level. Neither a mere rolling of the beads or non-stop muttering of the sacred word in the mouth can by themselves constitute the Japa Yoga. So see this, how a Vedantic style, that in the beginning an essence is said about what he is going to elaborate. Essence is Japa is not physical, but it is mental and is to be raised to a still deeper level. This is the whole scope of Japa. Mental Japa and not physical, and it is to be still raised to the deeper level. So this is the scope of Japa Yoga. And therefore this, though in the beginning it may be allowed, but still just rolling of the beads and non-stop muttering of the sacred word in the mouth can by themselves can neither and nor is in the beginning, so can by themselves constitute the Japa Yoga. So it's neither the rolling of the beads nor just chanting the word by mouth, Vaikhari, by itself constitute Japa Yoga. It is included, but it's not limited to that. It has to be mental, and having become mental, then we have to go to the deeper level. That is the last one. So this is only suggestive gist of the whole topic that we are now detailing out. Now when you say word in the mouth, what does it strike you anything? Word in the mouth. That is the name chanting by mouth. What is indicative of that? See, to a novice, he cannot use the technical terms. But we are aware of the technical terms. So when you say chanting by mouth, what is that called?
Guruji, are we referring to the difference between the Shabda Japa and Manasa Japa and like that?
Yes. You try out. I may refer anything. You try out and let me see.
No, so we discover three levels of Japa. One in which we are chanting the holy name loudly. Second, in which only the lips are moving, but the voice is not strong. And third, the highest level of concentration, there is no movement of anything in the mouth or in the throat, but there is the japa going on steadily without any interruption in the mind. So that's the highest level of concentration.
Here that is higher. The highest being something deeper than that. In the first statement itself it is mentioned. Japa is not physical, but it is mental and is to be raised to a deeper level further. Beyond mental also, deeper. That we will have to discuss that, not immediately, but this is an essential part of the whole topic. Now, what you are saying is the 2 levels or 3 levels. I say there are 4 levels.
It is Vaikhari Vadi we have to take aloud and Madhyama, Pashyanti, and then it has to, by the time you go to Pashyanti, it automatically, I feel it will automatically seep into Para.
Okay, that's the answer expected. Namo Sharada Mula Chatvari Vacha. Manate Shlok says. So Sharada Devi is prostrated by recalling that she manifests at 4 levels. So the Vani is the goddess of speech. And this Vani, the process of speech starts from Para, then comes down to Pashanti, then the process of verbalization, Madhyama, and the actual verbalization, Vaikhari.
There is a bit of doubt about Pashyanti. What happens in Pashyanti? This mental, I can understand, we do it also knowingly, unknowingly. But what happens in Pashyanti and how should we perceive it? That is not clear.
So when it is Para, it is totally in unmanifest condition. The thought or the speech is totally in unmanifest condition. But when I am able to conceive or perceive that thought, then it is first level. I recognize that thought. So that is Pashyanti. I see the thought form. Pashyanti is in between the system of creating a thought form. When we see outside gross objects, it thought forms, Vishayakar vrittis are formed in the mind, right? Now when we have conceptual ideas from vasanas, then also we have thought forms. As in the dream, it's all conceptual, but still we can see the solid forms in the dream. So because from the unmanifest vasanas or thought forms is created. So there is a process of creating a form out of a mere concept. Even concept is also made into a form. The gross objects are also made into a form. So the formation at the thought level is an important, you can say, milestone in the process of that. Now, before form, to recognize the kind of thought, before it gets a thought form. So that thought forming is just between Pashyanti and Madhyama. In Madhyama, the thought form is processed further to a sound form. So just conceiving the idea, which was earlier unmanifest, now it has become manifest. And to get a full idea, you require a thought form to that effect. So there is this is a subtle aspect of thought form. Thought form is a facility within a subtle body in which gross objects can also be turned into a thought form, or even the concepts or vasanas can also be converted into thought form. When it is thought form, we can see it. So that is the next stage. After para, it is pashyanti. When I recognize, when I see or perceive in the mind the kind of thought, then the thought will be processed further for expression of speech. This is in between a process is called as madhyama. So even if you see the locations also, the location of para is somewhere near the navel area, stomach, and then it comes up pashyanti in the heart, and in the madhyama it is in the throat, and then afterwards it is vaikhari, the gross. So likewise, we are not going in details of the speech that goes on yoga aspect, different area. But here what we want to see, what is unmanifest becomes manifest. Pashyanti, when I can conceive that. So that
So,
thought form is very important.
Pashyanti falls under Namarupatmak.
Nama Rupatma, you can. Yes. So the concept is very clear in Pashyanti. Then only we can express it. Unless that idea comes to our mind, we cannot speak.
So only in para we have, it will be like Namarupatmak Srushti will
in the unmanifest.
Acha, it will dissolve. Acha, acha.
In para it is unmanifest. Para, apara, these are the different. Para is something which is not conditioned by any upadhi. Apara is conditioned by upadhi. Paravidya, aparavidya also, you know, aparavidya is intellectual. Paravidya is intuitional. So likewise that in para it is unmanifest. In pashyanti it becomes manifest. When the concept is clear, then we can describe it in the words. And that is why for a good expression in any language, we must know how to think in that language. Most important. It's not a question of translating. We cannot just, that is not effective at all. You think in Marathi, then translate into English and then speak in English. Not that way. You must learn to think in English, then you can speak in English. That will be more effective. So as we think, so we speak. So naturally, mother tongue is natural, no doubt about it. But if we want to speak to some other language, then we must need to know how to think in that language. Because it is only thoughts that are processed further into a speech. Then it becomes effortless, relatively. Translation in between becomes tedious because it's not always the literal translation that works. We need to find some equivalent expressions which will carry the main content. So that was about muttering in the mouth. Yes? Anyone else on this? Okay. So now that was our first para. We have discussed two important points. One is the first statement is very important statement. That means we need to see not only physical and mental, but even deeper. First statement is important. And in the same thing it is said, it is not only muttering by mouth and turning the bead does not in itself constitute Japa Yoga. It has to progress further into the mental Japa And then Swamiji expect further even deeper than that also. So this was only an introductory para, basically. And now we proceed to the second one. Is there any point that can be further discussed? Deeper level is a secret, meaning at present for us, but he has covered the whole entire scope of Japa Yoga. Now second para I'll read. To chant the mantra with the mind is rather difficult for those who are novices. When the eyes are closed, the mind has a tendency to wander. The initiates may, therefore, have their eyes open before the idol and even chant aloud to begin with. So chanting aloud, please don't shout. It should be just loud enough so that you can hear what you are chanting. That's only loud enough. It's not to be shouted so that others will come to know what you are doing. So your chanting should be just loud enough so that you can listen your own chanting. That should be. So that is the implication of the term loud. So that is, so it is advisable to keep the eyes open and continue to watch or look closely the idol. And thus we are giving job to the eyes also. And then chanting. Chanting, when you are chanting a bit aloud, then the speech has to take care. It's not just at the thought level. So loud enough so that you can listen your own chanting. That should be, that was the second para. When eyes are closed, the mind has a tendency to wander. What can be said about this?
When
Then-
eyes are open, there are forms, and it is we can say tied to that form.
Very good. That's the correct answer. When the eyes are closed, there are no jobs, so they wander. When eyes are open, there are forms and colors sufficient enough to engage the eyes in that. So there is no much chance for the eyes to wander here and there. In every situation, we have something to see. So that way, eyes are busy when they are open. Eyes are closed, then the mind has a tendency to wander here and there. So therefore, in the beginning, the eyes can be open. But that is not it's only starting point. Later on, you close your eyes because basically you are not concerned with the outer world. At this moment, you are concerned only with the Ishta Devata or the idol. So therefore, if at all eyes are to be open, then open it to the idol. So that was the point in the second para. So the concluding is, as concentration develops, they may slowly practice closing the eyes and chant with the mind. So the pivoting point here is the concentration develops. So with open eyes and chanting loudly, it is expected that our usual rule that wherever there are sense organs in operation, the mind is right behind them. So when I am chanting something, mind is behind the speech. And when the eyes are open, then definitely mind has to be behind that to see what it is. Therefore, when we are sufficiently concentrated in the mind, that whatever we see, we can concentrate with that, then we can close the eyes and practice further concentration. Whether without open eyes, whether we can imagine in the mind the same picture, same form, and chant his name mentally. So slowly, from gross to the subtle will be the direction in which we will progress. That was another point. Anything else in this? So we proceed to the third para. Japa should be an all-out, intense, sincere effort of the japist to bring forth from his mind and intellect all the faculties like emotion, discrimination, sensitiveness, will, logic, reason, sympathy, love, faith, and pour them all into the act of concentrating upon the mental chanting of the sacred mantra performed at the feet of the Lord's form, which is visualized steadily within the naked chamber of the bosom. The big sentence, the only one sentence, it looks like the whole para is one sentence. Japa should be an all-out, intense, sincere effort of the japist to bring forth from his mind and intellect all the possible faculties. So all faculties have to be poured into the act of japa. So Japa Yoga is a spiritual activity, and in that activity, we have to pour all the faculties of the mind and intellect into it. Can we locate, identify from where these faculties come? Emotion from the mind, discrimination from the intellect, sensitiveness from the sense organs. Must minutely observe the idol. So it is the mental faculty, the mind has to observe it, not just the eyes have to objectify it, but the mind behind has to objectify. So mind should be sensitive. There is a similar but not the same word, and it makes a vast difference in their meaning. What is that? Sensitive, and I think it is my monologue, not a dialogue. Sensual and sensitive. Please note the difference. There's a big difference between that. Sensuality is your attachment and like for the objects. The sensitivity is a sharp observation of whatever you are observing, the forms. So that goes to the subtler level, and therefore it is with the mind. So these are all faculties of the mind and intellect we are saying. So sensitivity and sensual, these are apparently look similar, but they are not same. There is a vast difference. Okay, the next one is will, essence of determination about your sadhana. Not because my Swamiji has told me, not because the scripture tells me to do japa, but I am also interested. Yes, I want that I should improve. So the self-improvement is a great motive for the individual to develop interest. When it is all related to you, you are interested. If it is for somebody else, you may not be that. But here, since it is for your own progress, your own evolution, therefore the sense of the word used here is the will, the determination. So the willingness to perform is also required here. Then what about logic, reason, sympathy, love, and lastly faith?
Logic means why I'm performing this activity. That logic is expected. What I'm expecting, why it will be like that, what should be the end result, and the relation between the deity and myself, and the meaning of japa. This all together is the logic.
Logic of our step-by-step progress.
Hmm.
What is expected logically? What is expected the next our next step of progress, etc. So the logical reasoning. The basic causation hunting. Causation hunting gives us the idea of cause and effect, and cause and effect gives us the sense of step-by-step exercise. If I undertake this, what will be the result of that? That is the effect. Cause. So first thing is a logical step-by-step exercise, and the reasoning for that. Reasoning, we have the intellect main job is causation hunting. When something is perceived, the other creatures won't bother about it. They may react or they may not react or go away. But when man sees it, the question is raised in his mind. What is that? From where it has come? Of what it is made? Etc. So this kind of trying to reason out its cause, its process, and its effect, etc. So the reasoning aspect and logical reasoning. So the logical sequence of step-by-step sequence has some basis of intellectual reasoning. If you have any other ideas, please speak it out. Then sympathy. To whom you will sympathize?
When I decide to follow this path, particular time or particular quantity of this japa, and when it is not possible, then I need sympathy for myself.
Okay.
Otherwise, if I will give it up, then there is no use. So again, to try it again, to maintain that.
Yes. Anyone else would like to have his idea?
At the higher level, if when I know more than this, deeper level, then the relation between myself and the Lord should expand. Then this sympathy will be from with myself also and with others also. So that quality will develop.
That please repeat it. With others also you said, no?
Yes, means quality of forgiveness or trying to understand other person and sympathy with other person, that will develop as japa will proceed. The mental quality of sympathy will also improve.
So going along with others, to get along with others, and not mark ourselves as something special. That I've started this spiritual sadhana. That others have not yet appreciated that. To see like that with a different saha anubhuti is sympathy. So the kind of consideration for others. So the no level difference as such. What strikes you today may for others it may strike them later, or for some others they have already striked it earlier and they have started their sadhana. So these are considerations. We are all marching towards the same goal, and therefore there should be sympathy with our co-seekers and undertaking this particular sadhana or any other sadhana which leads to the same destination. So once I came across a person with whom I was just conversing, and he just looked down upon me and he said, "It will require 7 lives for you to understand this. Just forget about that. He just dubbed me, clearly made me out of discussion, conversation. You won't understand for another 7 lives. Just get it out. This kind of attitude that I am something which I know, which you won't know for some 7 births. So, any such kind of distinctive feeling that some others are different, I am different, no such discrimination. All are knowingly or unknowingly marching towards the same destination. We're all going to meet there. But some may be lagging behind, or some are already started behind, late. Some now we say it is late or early, but actually in their life they have started at the right time. So this kind of consideration for other seekers, co-seekers, etc., also can be considered as sympathy. Self-pity is not advisable. I saw some sense of that color shade to sympathize oneself under certain circumstances. So, not that. Self-pity is not suggested at all. So, here it is always with co-seekers. What should be our attitude? Now I gained something, a secret path, when others are still to appreciate them, I am much ahead of them, etc. All such ideas where the others are looked down or they are discriminated like this are discouraged, and have a sympathetic approach to them also. This is many times for a advanced seeker or one who has started it already, the novice may praise him and he said, "You are really great, this, that." Don't accept that. And then that will create another problem in your mind if you accept all his praises. But on the contrary, suppose if you encourage him and just saying that there is no much difference or there is no such discrimination, you can also do it. It is not something so extraordinary feat. So that kind of thing where if others are even trying to value you much more than what you are, then no, you need not accept that. Go with that. So co-seeker is the right word for that. Sadhaka bandhu. Bandhu is such a good term. Kamgar bandhu. There are different areas. Bandhu will be same. So that feeling of equality or equal consideration for others as you would consider for yourself. So all these ideas are covered in this sympathy. Love. Yeah, how accurate and precise is the guidance from Swamiji. Now here love. Whom you want to love now?
When we are chanting Lord's name on regular basis, then we are in the contact with the Lord. So the same verse which we see in chapter 2, that Dhyato Vishayan Pusaha, the same verse we can apply over here. So we are again and again coming in contact with the Lord. So attachment towards the Lord will be there. And
that will
in
result to attachment.
Attachment.
Okay.
And we can find Lord's hand in very small, insignificant situations in our life also. And in very severe condition, serious condition also. So this feeling, when it develops, then first some gratitude will be there, then more intimacy, more love will develop. So for that, we say in Marathi that is Sahavas. So Sahavas is going toward near Lord again and again, which will develop into love.
Okay, that's a good attempt. Anyone else would like to try out?
I recollect we had this discussion in the context of the topic of devotion once, and that time you had mentioned that we love something that we like fundamentally. So as we start identifying more and more with the Lord, love becomes a measure of how much we identify. And since the highest form of identification is one's own self, when we realize that in reality everything that we are worshipping is our own self, that form of devotion is the highest form of love. This
Okay.
is
Okay,
what.
that's the right point. You have strike the right point. For this, you must know the definition Swamiji gives of love. Love is measured in terms of one's identification with the beloved. Now, in Japa Yoga, our beloved is the Lord, whose name we are chanting. And the ultimate progress will be when I am able to identify with the Lord, that I am the Lord. So this is the highest level of progress. After all, the Lord is within us, means we are essentially the Lord, the divine. So the sense of identification is more concerned from the standpoint of devotion of definition of love. It's a measure of identification. So if my beloved is sorrowful, then I cannot enjoy. I am also experience the sorrows. In his happiness is my happiness. So this kind of identification with the beloved is what is indicated by the term love. And here, to pour the love in the Japa Yoga means to develop or trying to identify his presence in us, or ultimately when we become one with him. So this is the sense of identification is have an accent in the word love. Then you said like. So the starts with the liking of the mind, then affection, then love, then devotion. So this is the increasing steps for the feeling. First I like it, then I have developed the kind of affection in all my day-to-day transactions in Vyavahar. And then the next one will be the love, where it is not because I want to transact with him or do something or gain something. It is selfless love. And when this selfless love is directed towards the higher, the Lord, etc., the goal, the country, then it's called devotion. Desha Bhakti, Deva Bhakti, Dheya Bhakti, etc. So the love raised to the higher is devotion, feeling itself. Okay. That is love. What is next? Faith. Last. Faith is the last listed. What you know about the faith? Thoughts related to the faith. The definition of faith. The suggestion of faith.
So this is a we are using japa as sadhana. So whatever is said by scriptures or the teacher, I should have faith in that and no doubt in between that whether this will have that effect or not, whether I will proceed in this, progress in this or not. So I should have faith, and with faith I should keep on performing japa.
So now here faith in what? In
Faith
the Japa Yoga.
Faith in Japa Yoga and scriptures describe the result of Japa Yoga. Right now we have seen the steps involved in between. So teachers also tell us about Japa. What will be the end result? How our mind will be progressing? What are the things? So I should not keep on doubting whether I'm doing is right or not, whether this Japa is useful or not. When I will be at that step like that. Instead, I have to have faith in the words of all this and keep on performing.
Okay. Yes. Anyone else has any other idea? Here, since we are chanting the name of the Lord, the faith in the Lord is most important. That there is. So when you say mountain, there is a mountain. I can see it. Here I can't see it. So whenever the things are not perceptible directly, and when they are supported by the scripture, which is a means for knowing these things, which are not ordinarily perceptible by body, sense organs, mind, intellect, then I need to believe so that I will come to understand what I believe. So belief in the things that I don't see by my sense perception, by conception, thinking, there I must have a faith or belief. Faith is belief, and its result is to know what you believed. Swami Tapon Maharaj says that faith illumines our spiritual path. Without faith, you won't see anything on the spiritual path. Shraddham vinaka paraloka chinta magna pravarteta paroksha karye. With the things which are not within our perception, conception, etc., without faith, there is no possibility of any progress. You must believe that they are there and proceed. This is one aspect, so that you will come to know what you believe. The another one is the faith is the light on our path. Without light, we can't perform anything. So the faith is the light that illumines our path. This is another definition of faith. And paraloka is not perceptible, like heaven and other. Loka is a field of experience. There are different fields of experience, subtler. In their subtlety, they are different. So there are saptaloka, there are 7 fields of experiences. So the seeker is going by that. When seeker is proceeding, he doesn't know, he doesn't perceive. The heaven is not perceptible. So the paraloka chinta, if you want to think about this paraloka, how would you think? What are the data you have? Nothing. Only it is the scriptures are talking about it. The guru is saying about it, but it is not perceptible to the senses or to this conditioning BMI. When it is say Shraddham vinaka paraloka chinta, without Shraddha, there is not possible for you to have any access in this line. Paraloka, which are the transcendental fields of experiences, which are not perceptible ordinarily, is not possible to have. So the faith is from the beginning up to the end, it is the faith that revives us now and then. Many times sometimes our enthusiasm goes down. So this when the battery goes discharged, at that moment it is our faith in the goal, faith in the Lord that revives us. Likewise, there are different shades of meaning in the word faith. So Swamiji has given that all these faculties have to be poured into the act of japa. So by mind and intellect, you must involve yourself fully for the best that you have within us. So all these, the list of the faculties or the qualities of the mind and intellect that are listed here, they all are required to have the best performance for Japa Yoga. So, like even in Karma Yoga, also we have said the best in us must be poured into the field of work. So, likewise, here also, this Japa is a spiritual activity, and in that activity, it is necessary that you are fully involved in your at the level of your mind and intellect, that is subtle body, and all those qualities of the subtle body are listed here precisely. And when we are pouring that out into our Japa Yoga, then it becomes more effective, and it leads us to those various levels we have in the beginning we have discussed, from the ugliness of our imperfections, the egoistic level, PFTI onward, to the infinite. So these higher levels are accessible the best when we pour into it. So these are the precisely these words are the qualities are listed here. So emotion, discrimination, sensitiveness, will, logic, reason, sympathy, love, and faith, and pour them all into the act of concentrating upon the mental chanting of the sacred mantra. The next is performed at the feet of the Lord form.
Guruji, there is a doubt.
Ah.
About this faith. I feel that when we are in the beginner, I'm still the beginner only. But what happens now when we read many things, we feel confused. It's not that clarity is not there in the thinking part also. We do not know that there is a our basic vasanas make us dance on their tunes. It's not that I'm not an observer of myself. I'm not sakshi. I'm just playing with the tunes of on my vasanas. So, and I'm reading some scriptures. I'm going to some study groups. But what happens, no? And I'm doing Nama Japa also. But what happens, no? In the Nama Japa especially, what some of the pothis, they say that whatever Nama Japa you do on your own, it has zero meaning. So don't do it.
Please repeat, on your own?
You don't do it unless you are initiated by a guru. Because Guru knows that if you are a Shiva Bhakta or you are a Rama Bhakta or you are a Hanuman Bhakta, Ganesh Bhakta, whatever. I really do not understand that part of it.
That is, Swamiji has cleared it in the beginning of this earlier article only. It is made very, very clear. So, what are the advantages of getting initiated by a right person, authorized person, or a guru? This Nama Japa. Advantages he has given, but he said there is no such formalities. Don't follow any such formalities. You choose whatever the best you like, whatever the deity that you like it, take his name. And he has given an open list of mantras, and from which we can select the one we like. So this point is already made clear. The plus point is that when the guru gives you, initiates you into a mantra, then he has got his own potential power, the spiritual power, which is added to the seed of japa. It is like a push that we get from the teacher, and then our vehicle will continue with our own effort. But in the beginning, it requires a push, meaning it is difficult. As you know, the car requires first gear to accelerate first from the dead condition to motion. To move the thing, it requires some more strength. And that push we get from the first gear. Likewise, the guru pushes you in the beginning. So that value is there. But then Swamiji says not to wait for any such person who will come and will initiate you, etc. You start that.
Yes.
Because all mantras are powerful by themselves. And plus, then he suggests that Om should be added to that mantra. Then it becomes, we get more power from Om to this mantra. This one or two points he has said, appreciated. But otherwise, he has said that no, don't wait for any official or initiation of this from a authority. Such you start, because it's a matter of mental concentration that he gives more accent to it. So the mental concentration can be attained by, we are giving an alternative to 101 names and forms. Only one name and form is an alternative, Japa Yoga. So instead of so many ideas and so many names coming to my mind related to the world of OET, I am now taking the name of the Lord as a replacement. So instead of the world of OET, I should remember this Lord or the name of the Lord. Idea is that finally the vritti, our thought should resemble to that form of the Lord. When that form is created, thereafterwards, the world perception is not a problem. We will see only this Lord everywhere. That you are aware about Ramdas Swami, how it has affected. So what is important is to form a vritti to that resemblance of the Lord. Moment I take the name of the Lord, that vritti will come to my mind. And this formation is very, very important. So for that authority and all these formalities, etc. Because now it has become a divine business everywhere. So we don't want to wait and find out. We are not capable of knowing who is authorized, who is not authorized. Instead of that, Swamiji has cleared that point earlier only in the last article. So that is not no problem at all. We should follow. After study, the Japa Yoga is the next one, meditation is next, the contemplation is last. So this is on the practice side of the spiritual sadhana. Now, next. So this whole para is a big sentence, and we have, I think, covered it. So I was saying about it, performed at the feet of the Lord's form. What is the meaning of this? Next clause. Pour them all into the act of concentrating upon the mental chanting of the sacred mantra performed at the feet of the Lord's form. What does it mean?
No, Hari Om, I was about to speak. The
Very
feet
good.
of the Lord form resemble knowledge, we say. So, hello.
Please repeat.
The feet of the Lord form resemble knowledge.
Acha. Feet of the Lord. Okay.
So we say, I mean, while chanting the name, or by when slowly we are proceeding towards the ultimate knowledge, where we should realize our true nature, and when we are pouring the best what we can give, slowly we will proceed on that path, reaching to the ultimate knowledge.
Very good. This is one, and then we have been also instructed to sit ourselves at such level that our eyes level will be in line with the feet of the Lord. This is the physical aspect. So whenever we open our eyes, we should see the feet of the Lord. There are two aspects. One is the face of the Lord, and the second is the feet of the Lord. The face of the Lord, our vision is not strong enough or clear enough to see the face of the Lord. But here, the feet of the Lord are available for us, and we can pursue that. So this is another aspect of it. The face and the feet. The face stands for the truth and the feet for the reality. So this reality, the knowledge pure or infinite, this is represented by the feet. And therefore the japist attempt is to ultimately seek the knowledge which he will get through the practice of Japa Yoga. And in the beginning only when we say it's an deeper level, still deeper level, now we have touched that point. It is said here it's not only physical, it is mental and is to be raised to a deeper, a still deeper level. So this is the deeper level. Ultimately, it should lead us to the knowledge. So that's the right answer. Okay. Anyone else would like to say anything? No.
So relates with the sense of surrender.
Feet.
Yes. So whatever
Yeah.
japa we are performing, we are
Yes.
offering it at the Lord's feet.
Yes. So this is for the ego to surrender along with the mind. Mind is concentrated and is busy with the chanting, while the ego is surrender. So there because ultimately ego has to merge in its source, the self or the Lord. So unless so long as the ego is there, the Lord would not occupy or will not come within. So either the ego or the Lord will occupy the seat in the heart. So here also the sense of surrender uh, from the standpoint of ego is expected. So always it should be in our sight. The level of our eyes should be at should be along with the level of the feet of the Lord. So at that level, we should sit in such a way, or we should place the idol in such a fashion that the feet will come in level with our eyesight. Whenever we open our eyes, the feet will be seen. So this is the way ease of seeing, and it has something to do with the knowledge aspect. One, the sense of surrender on our part for the knowledge. These two aspects we have seen. And the face is something which definitely we cannot see. We don't have sufficient vision to see the face of the Lord. Though here in the picture it will be seen, all right. But as such, what stands for the face of the Lord, what stands for the feet of the Lord, you see, the feet stands for knowledge and the face stands for the truth, ultimate truth, which is not perceptible to the jiva at all. Unless the jiva experiences this infinite perfection of the knowledge, it is not accessible to him, the face. As we have always have these two levels, the infinite reality and the eternal truth. So eternal truth represents the face of the Lord. Infinite knowledge represents the feet of the Lord. So that way you can see that it is at the feet of the Lord form, which is visualized steadily within the naked chamber of the bosom is the last clause.
We have one abhanga, that is first line is माझा भाव तुझे चरणी तुझे रूप माझे नयन.
Again, repeat.
माझा भाव तुझे चरणी तुझे रूप माझे नयन. So it is visualizing the form inside and surrender at the feet.
Okay. Bhava is a different level, body, mind, self. So progressively we should have our our inner equipment surrender to the Lord. So the all sense of bhava, attitude, feeling, etc. should be at the feet of the Lord. And when it is a rupa, it is saguna upasana to start with. But here Swamiji says important wording is naked chamber of the bosom. Which is visualized steadily within the naked chamber of the bosom. A very abstract concept Swamiji is putting, and that's why in the beginning only I said that the still deeper level. When it's a naked chamber of the bosom, what is the idea?
This gross body, subtle body, causal body, they are like the garments. So, we
Now
have,
what is compared to? Here the bosom is compared to which body or something else?
so it is without these things means our identification should not be with this while chanting.
Our identification.
So one of the OV we can say, Samartha Ramdas Swami says that काहीच न करून प्राणी राम नाम जपे वाणी. So without doing anything means we have to be still, not identifying with anything, no thoughts in the mind, and only concentrating on the Lord or its name. So leaving all these equipments.
The bosom usually Swamiji uses for subtle body or the heart. So we cannot allow that also to disappear. The heart is the core of intellect. In the Upanishad, when the heart is used, it is the core of the intellect. Okay. Now the naked bosom, when we say, usually the common material for the subtle body is, right?
Thought.
Thought.
Is thought.
So body is full of, subtle body is full of thoughts, various thoughts. Emotion, thought is a common segregation, but so many feelings are listed just now. Now slowly we are going to a place or what is called as cave of the heart, cave of the intellect, where there is no thought. And there we can call it as a naked subtle body. The deeper aspects of the subtle body is like a cave of the heart or like inner recesses of the intellect, where slowly the first of all the prana aspect is weakened, it doesn't reach there, and then we will see that the aspects of the infinite awareness, the light of infinite awareness, and lastly the self, the seat of consciousness is the first thing, and then seat of consciousness without reference to any upadhi means that itself is awareness, and then finally the awareful being, where this is called as a naked bosom. Elsewhere Swamiji giving the definition of description of the meditation is undress and embrace. So undress is undressing of all the conditioning, the body, mind, intellect, and then embrace is becoming one with the Lord. So this in meditation this is attempted. So even the thought is transcended, then the consciousness we become one with. So transcendence of the thought is emptying the subtle body. When the thought is transcended, then this description will go well. For this, the first condition is we have to visualize it steadily within. We can visualize outside physically, but to study the image of the deity in our subtle body requires a lot of concentration. We don't need to open the eyes, but we must be able to see, visualize it, the Lord as it is by the mind, not by the physical body. So then it requires all the minute details of the deity and the ability to visualize mentally, and that requires the, as it is said, the steadiness. That's the level achieved when one is able to steadily conceive the Lord in the heart without the help of, without any external help. When one is steadied, then he does not need any conceptual aspect or thought aspect with it. The form itself is enough, but the psychologically in the mind it is conceived without anything else, that alone. So as we enter the cave of the heart or bosom, the very few thoughts accompany, and later on they also get dropped en route, and finally we are at the seat of consciousness where there is no thought. So this is the beginning, and the seat of consciousness is occupied by the Lord, the self. By that time, when the thought is already dropped, therefore there is no conditioning, and the no conditioning is indicated here by this naked bosom, that by this term. So the subtle body without thought, once it is without thought, then the consciousness becomes awareness. And thus it is the seat for the awareful being, the self, the Lord of Lords. Consciousness is the Lord, and self is the Lord of Lords. So this is how we can see up to this. So we have covered up to third para, and we should go through these portions because they are more subtler. They are not very easy to digest or even conceive. Therefore, please repeatedly go through them and think over. If you get some further ideas, we'll share that next time. We'll stop here for the time being. Is there any announcement? No.
Announcement regarding our next Gita chanting.
Yes.
Roughly, it is in the March last 2 Sundays. So if anyone is interested in hosting at their residence or at Vishranti, please contact as soon as possible. And then we should think of coming at the venue. More and more members can come at the venue, because now we know that everything, all restrictions are getting reduced, and we should try to come together as we were doing 2 years before. So that also members may please consider coming, attending at the venue, and regarding this hosting also. So if anyone is interested, please contact Yuva Chaitanya coordinators as early as possible. Hari Om.
I will now play and chant the part. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessing flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities, give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityormamritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om, everybody.
Hari Om.
Sir.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Yom.
Hari Om, sir.